morning, class. For today's explanation from physical geography, we have humidity and condensation. So let us start by understanding what is humidity. In the clearest and the easiest way, humidity can be defined as the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. And to give a proper explanation of humidity, it can be defined as humidity is the ratio of water vapor present in the atmosphere to the total amount of water vapor which the atmosphere can hold. So the the definition will be ratio of water vapor present to the ratio of total water vapor which can be held, right? Next we come to condensation. What is condensation? In chemistry, I'm sure you all have learned what is condensation. Anyway, now we will look at the PPT and let's carry on the class. So here we can see what is humidity. Humidity is a measurement of air quality. The humid measure indicates the amount of water vapor. As I said, the amount of water vapor or moisture the air contains. In simple words, the humid index tells us how much moisture is present in the air, right? Next, we see the amount of humid or presence of water vapor in the air depends on the temperature. So, humid or depends on temperature. This is an important line here. Therefore, as the temperature increases, the rate of humidity or moisture also increases. Also, humidity is created through two main processes, transpiration and evaporation, right? From here, this is a very important point, depends on temperature. As temperature increase, rate of humidity also increases. Now we have the types of humidity. So basically there are two types of humidity, relative and absolute. What is relative humidity? So we'll see here what is relative humidity. Relative humidity measures the amount of water vapor present in the air, but it measures only relative to temperature. In simple words, relative humidity measures the maximum percentage of air moisture in a given temperature. So relative humidity measures humidity present in the atmosphere with regard to temperature. It is dependent on temperature. Whereas in absolute humidity, it does not consider variable measure caused by temperature. It is not dependent on temperature. Now we have effects of humidity on weather. It helps in cloud formation, in mild precipitation. High levels of humidity can cause the tropical storms and even hurricanes. Helps in torrential rainfalls in monsoon and Southeast Asian countries. Right? So what we learned is what is humidity. Humidity can be defined as the ratio of water vapor present in the air to the total amount of water vapor which can be held, right? Then we saw humidor is dependent on temperature, more temperature equal to more humidity. Then we saw the types of humidity. There are basically two types of humidity. Basically, we have relative and absolute. Relative humidity is dependent on temperature, absolute is dependent on no such factors. Now we'll come to what is condensation. So condensation is a process by which the vapored water again becomes liquid. So in simple words, it is a process that makes gaseous form of water into liquids. It is a reversal process of evaporation, and this happens in two ways. The air cools down and the water vapor within the air reaches its dew point, or it becomes saturated and cannot hold more vapor within, right? So what is condensation? Condensation is a process by which the vapored water again becomes liquid. In simple words, it is a process that makes the gaseous form of water into liquids. Next, it is a reversal process of evaporation, and this happens in two ways. The air cools down and the vapor within the air reaches its dew point. Secondly, it becomes saturated and cannot hold more vapor within. Right? So what is condensation? Condensation is a process by which the vapored water becomes liquid. It happens in two ways. Either the vapor within the air reaches its dew point, or it becomes saturated and cannot hold more vapor within, right? Now we come to what causes condensation. We have dew point and saturation. So let's see what is dew point. Dew point is a particular point of temperature where condensation occurs. Dew naturally means condensed water present in the atmosphere. Generally, the air temperature can reach or fall from the dew point at different times, and therefore we can see water droplets on grass and windows in the morning. It can also happen on the surface of a cold container when the hot air passes through it. Then we have saturation. A mass of water vapor conjugated with dust creates clouds. When a pocket of air reaches its highest moisture forms a cloud. In vapor form, molecules of water stay far apart from one another, but when they form a cloud, it crosses its ability to hold more vapor. Naturally, the cloud saturates and water molecules begin to cool. Also, the density of those molecules increases and finally the vapor condenses and becomes water droplets, that is rain. Now, let's read again. Dew point is a particular point of temperature when condensation occurs. Dew naturally means condensed water present in the atmosphere. Generally, the air temperature can reach or fall from the dew point at different times, and therefore, we can see water droplets on grass and windows in the morning. It can also happen on the surface of a cold container when the hot air passes through it. Saturation. A mass of water vapor conjugated with dust creates clouds. When a pocket of air reaches its highest moisture forms a cloud. In vapor form, molecules of water stay far apart from one another, but when they form a cloud, it crosses its ability to hold more vapor. Naturally, the cloud saturates and water molecules begin to cool down. Also, the density of those molecules increases. Finally, the vapor condenses and becomes rain. So, this is your factors of causing condensation. Now, we have difference between condensation and evaporation. Evaporation and condensation are natural phenomena that occur in the atmosphere. Both of them are associated with the rise and fall of air temperature. In evaporation, liquid molecule gather energy from the atmosphere due to high temperature become vapor. On the other, condensation, gaseous molecule. So it's very easy. Basically, in evaporation, liquid becomes gas. In condensation, gas becomes liquid. That's the only thing you have to remember. Now we have relation between condensation and humidity. The process of condensation is closely related to levels of humidity, and there is a strong relation between humidity and concentration. As we know, humidity index indicates the amount of moisture or water vapor present in the air at any given time. On the other hand, condensation causes the liquidation of gases. The high humidity rate helps to saturate the gaseous molecules of water within the air. As a result, it reached the dew point and could not hold more vapor molecules. To conclude, we have humidity is a measure. Again, just a quick recap what we learned. Firstly, we learned what is humidity. Then we learned the types of humidity. Then we learned what is condensation. Then we learned what are the types of what causes condensation. Then we learned evaporation and condensation. Then we learned relation between evaporation and condensation. Then we learned relation between humidity and condensation. Now, just a conclusion. So we can see here what is humidity. Humidity is a measurement. Humidity is a measurement of vapor or gaseous water present in the air at any given time. Then that's all for today's class. I hope you understood. For a quick recap, relative humidity is dependent on temperature. Absolute is not dependent on it. The humidity's ratio is ratio of water vapor present to the total amount it can hold. Then we come to evaporation. It means change of liquid to vapor. Condensation is vapor to liquid. And that's basically it from the perspective of CDS and NTA. Thank you.